Hello, adventurers. My name's Tyler.
And I'm Richard.
On today's episode, we're celebrating our 100th episode of the True Strike podcast. Welcome to True Strike.
Howdy, folks, and welcome back to the show for the 100th time.
These don't actually make any noise. Yeah.
I don't know what these are called.
Audio listeners.
For audio
Richard's
listeners.
holding up one of those party favors that
The tube with the curled up tube on the end.
little lizard
that
tongue
you
thing.
blow in. The lizard tongue.
Yeah.
The chameleon tongue that doesn't make any noise.
Yeah.
Other than when Tyler makes a noise while he blows on it.
They're pretty cool looking. I wish it made noise.
Yeah. They make little
But why do we
shaky
have the
noises.
chameleon tongue tubes?
Because it's our 100th episode.
Yay!
Yay!
Yeah, it is. Technically 101, but we're going to call it 100 because it's easier on the math. We started episode 0, but this is listed as 100, so haha, 100th episode.
Woo!
So yeah, is it time to retire, Richard?
No, we're only just getting started.
Are we?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so tired. I'm so tired, Richard. Week
Take a
after
nap.
week.
Short rest.
Yeah, okay. One short rest, we'll be back.
One short rest.
So, hi everyone. If you're new to the channel, welcome in. We talk about, well, it used to be, let's take a look back at the last 100 episodes.
A retrospect, if you will.
Yeah, we used to speak about Dungeons and Dragons exclusively. This was
Yes.
supposed to be a Dungeons and Dragons podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And over the last couple of years, we just kind of became whatever we wanted to talk about, which does involve quite a lot of Daggerheart. And I think there's going to be even more Daggerheart in our future once the book's actually out.
Yeah, it kind of became a TTRPG-esque podcast.
Last week
Yeah.
was video games. So.
Yeah, because we, I mean, we sprinkle in some other stuff in there when we're feeling frisky and we want to talk about something.
Yeah.
But yeah, we talked about a lot of Dungeons and Dragons on our last anniversary episode, which was our 50th episode or so, wasn't it?
So last time we just
Around
did
there.
1 year.
1 year, but I mean,
It was 50 something.
I was going to say it was around 50 something episodes. We did
course.
our 1 year. We talked about all the D&D we were going to talk about in the forthcoming year.
Yeah, right.
And we talked about D&D.
Yep.
Fair. But like you said, we started to talk about some other stuff too. Chiefly Daggerheart, because it was exciting. And
Yeah.
it still is very exciting.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one, I think, took us by surprise of, we knew Critical Role was working on a system and we knew we would be interested in checking it out. We didn't know we were going to cover it.
Yeah.
We didn't know we would enjoy the system this much and continue covering it and want to cover it even more going into the future. So, hey, lucky us. And it's funny because D&D does have some quality stuff out right now. The new, the 2024 revision of the books and stuff. And we got the new Monster Manual coming out soon.
Yeah.
Which we will cover when that releases. For anyone still interested in D&D, we will talk about that. So it's not like D&D's not doing well right now, but just Daggerheart. I mean, yeah, sure, it's new. It's something new, so we're interested in talking about it week after week. But I just like what they're doing.
Yeah, no, and it's we talked about it a lot when the new player's handbook did release. It revitalized my love for Dungeons and Dragons, which it was kind of like that up in the air, like what is this book going to be like, and what is it, like how is it going to be received by the people?
Mhm.
Because D&D had some rocky a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure.
And like you said, we didn't really know Daggerheart was coming when we didn't expect Daggerheart the way that we got it. But then with all the stuff all the stuff going on with D&D, the rough waters, a lot of people started making their own systems, and then we realized that we were going to see some new stuff. Little did we know that something like this was going to come out. And it's it's cool, but like I said, the D&D books really did kind of like give me a really uplifting moment when that new player's handbook came out, because it was so good and I really, really enjoyed it. And same thing with the Dungeon Master's Guide. It's kind of like got me hyped up again for Dungeons and Dragons. But now the opportunity let some new kids on the block.
Right. And just since we got Daggerheart on the conversation right now, and if you've made it this far into the video,
Thanks.
To celebrate us hitting 100 episodes. We wanted to give something back to you guys, so we are going to be doing a giveaway. You'll be able to see details for that down in the description if you're interested in entering it. We're going to be giving away one of the new core books for Daggerheart. So, like I said, details down in the description. You do not have to like, you do not have to subscribe, though those things are appreciated. This is just, we wanted to thank you all and give back to you. So details down in the description if you're interested in maybe winning a copy of Daggerheart. If you are interested in more of these going forward, we've already discussed a little bit, and that's something we want to be able to do. So once we hit 1,000 subs on YouTube, whenever that happens, it could be a year from now, whatever, we're going to be doing another giveaway then, and we'll see what I was going to say, what's the new hotness at the time. I'm sure we'll find something appropriate for whenever we do hit that number. But just as like a heads up, if you are still listening when we hit our 1,000, be on the lookout, because we'll be doing another one of these then. But like I said, no commitment. You don't have to do anything other than just check out the description, and you'll see how to enter there. Thank you everyone for tuning in for these last 100 episodes. If you're new to the channel, thanks for checking us out now. If you've been here for the whole time, thank you so much for coming along for the ride. And we'll get back to general conversations. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. No, that's super exciting. We talked about it for a little while, and it's kind of like you said, the hot thing right now for us is Daggerheart.
Yep.
Because it is just so exciting. And we're talking about the last time we did our our anniversary thing, we were talking about what kind of the future of the podcast will hold for us and stuff like that. And it's kind of an interesting thing to think about right now, because like you said, we aren't just a D&D podcast anymore.
Right.
So then we wonder, are we going to be more focused on Daggerheart as it comes out? And I don't know, you know what I mean? It really just kind of depends on what kind of releases that we get and how we get into that game, I think, right?
Yep. Our interest, of course, we're going into it. We're hot, right? We're hot on it. But are we going to be getting this initial release and then a content drought after that? Is it going to be a lot of community made stuff? Or are they going to try to support this and put out multiple releases a year, supplementary content? We don't know yet, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's going to have something to do with it. Of course, when it drops, we're going to have lots to dig through. So there'll be a bunch of, stuff from us then. But I don't know. I mean, there's still other games we're playing too. So I'm sure we'll drop into stuff here and there. Dreams of Machines has always got new stuff coming out. And that's a game we're always interested in. If you're like any of the Modifius, 2D20 system stuff, we like to cover those games too. And we're not going to give up on D&D. Though, I mean, it's not at the top of our brains.
Yeah, which is interesting because when we started this, it really was.
It was
at the top of our brains.
It's all we cared about.
Yeah, it's all we cared about, and it's all we did. And then, like I said, amidst all the scandals and everything like that happened, which they had a fair share.
Sure.
It started to wane a little bit, and then we started to get interested in some other systems. But then these new releases have really kind of just stood out to me, and I'm super excited to see what we got coming with the Monster Manual.
Mm-hmm.
Once we have our final core 3 books together, it'll be really interesting to see where that goes and how we see this whole core set, because we're still kind of skating along a little bit with the encounters and everything like that, because we really don't have a lot of base stats for these bigger things. So I think that's one of the final mystery that we have, is what these stat blocks are really going to look like and how it's going to change the game period, overall. That's going to give us our greatest look as a whole of where Dungeons and Dragons is right now.
Yep.
And it's pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, I keep telling Richard and our other players when we're playing Curse of Strahd, you guys are in easy mode right now.
Oh, yeah.
You've gotten this big power jump, and the monsters haven't caught up yet. But within, the couple of weeks, we're going to see what that looks like. And, are you guys going to be on the edge of death's door significantly more often than you are now? Because you've definitely had some, pretty walkable encounters up to this point.
Yeah.
Some tougher ones most recently.
Fair.
Because, you've had some bigger battles and some homebrew, Christmas stuff, but, we'll see. I'm excited for that either way. I don't think D&D is ever going to fully leave our lives and leave the podcast.
No.
But, maybe it's just not the only thing we focus on now. Speaking of which, any of you guys out there listen to this, if you got other systems you want us to cover and stuff, we've gotten a couple suggestions in the past that we've gone through reached out to creators for and, researched into. Just haven't gotten a chance to play those yet. But we are compiling a list of other games you guys want us to check out. See if you have any suggestions. Leave those in the comments, YouTube or Spotify, since Spotify's got that now too. And we check down that stuff. We check down, what am I saying? We check that stuff. We write down, there we go, all your suggestions. And not only that, but any suggestions just in the future for videos in general, topics you want us to discuss, Daggerheart, D&D, otherwise, let us know. We are always checking that stuff out, and we appreciate all of you and your time.
Yeah. It's been a very interesting year, I think. And I said this like
in general or the podcast?
In general and the podcast.
Okay.
For the podcast, like the last, 50 episodes that we've had, we've really branched out a lot, I think, in a lot of the systems that we've played, which we've talked about in the podcast
for
before,
sure.
Is like the last year, like how many new systems that we've seen. And there's so many more that I would like to check out too.
Yeah.
And it's just that it's like you said, you're asking for suggestions. I like that because I have like a pile of things that I've written down on my own that I've never even shown you, of systems that I want to check out. But like, I don't know. I just don't know which ones are the good systems and which ones are the bad ones, which ones are worth the time.
Oh, yeah.
Because we have such limited time to explore some of these new systems, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So that's actually a good point. If you drop down to the comment section, you see someone's already, written in a suggestion, the same one you were going to say, don't feel free to like throw in your own.
On it.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. And because then we'll really know like, oh, this is one, multiple people are, want us to, get into and stuff. That's good. High praise. Awesome. Because like you mentioned, if you've already got a puddle of options, which is the one that's sticking out to you the most, and we'll see if maybe some people got some expertise in it or, history with the game that we haven't touched yet. Yeah, I would love to jump into it. Things like, all right, looking back at this last year, we did, was it Dune Adventures in the Imperium?
Mm-hmm.
We played one single game of that, and it's the 2D20 system, similar to Dreams of Machines, but different because it's its own system or variation on it. That was really fun.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to play more of that game. We have to find time to play more of that game, but where do we do it? And then there's the flip side of, like you mentioned, there's all these other systems and stuff, so I want to jump into all these things. We just need longer lives. We need more time in the day. We need to add an 8th day to the week. That's just
game day.
Government mandated tabletop gaming day.
Yeah.
So
I tried to convince you of just doing a Discord call while at work. Right?
You say tried, like this has come up multiple times. No, this was a passing by comment from you.
No, that was the best idea I've had all year.
I mean,
like, I was all like, well, we're here for 8 hours and we're working for 8 hours. We're only on phone calls for like some of that, right? Yeah. So why can't we just all just be in a Discord and playing Dungeons and Dragons while we work?
So who is going to be in this game?
I don't know anybody that wants to, really.
Is it people outside of work, or is it just people out of work?
That's the thing about Discord is that like it could be people outside of work. That'd be fine.
Is it fine?
Yeah. The only problem that we have here is like rolling dice, unless we get somebody on the outside to be like a designated dice roller. So they just,
I can't see any way of that going poorly.
No, exactly. Whenever we need a check, we'll just have, like Rob on the outside. We're like, Rob, we need a D20 skill check. And then
there's got to be like a Discord bot for this, right? Like a dice roller?
I mean, I guess so.
I'm sure there is.
I don't know much about Discord. Is there like bots that you can talk to, like actually talk to, or you got to type?
Oh, will it talk? That I don't know.
Yeah,
I know there's like type stuff.
Yeah.
We had a bot that used to record Discord calls.
Yeah. So we need an actual person to like hang out in a Discord chat and roll some dice for us.
Remember when that's one of the options we had for doing this podcast is just doing it over Discord and having the bot record the Discord call. Mm-hmm. And then we played a couple games where the bot was recording and it dropped the recording multiple times. Like, I guess that's not going to work.
Yeah.
What's the next best thing? Meeting in person every like other week and knocking out these episodes. And God, man. Like, I mean, better product at the end of it.
True.
Less convenient.
Yeah.
But hey.
Only marginally less convenient.
Sure. It means we get to hang out.
We got this cool shed. You got this cool shed.
Yeah.
The studio. It is a studio.
Audio listeners, Richard used heavy air quotes. Yeah, it's the game room, if nothing else. It's the place where my wife lets me put all the nerdy things she doesn't want inside the house for guests to see. so she can hide me and all my shameful things like dragon and owlbear miniatures.
There's a lock on the door.
There is
and
a lock
it's not
on the
for
door.
fear of theft. It's for fear of somebody wandering out here and seeing the shed of shame, I think.
It's so cool, though. I've had one of her family members come over that I was able to be like, do you want to see the shed? Everyone else, stay away. But yeah, that's the first big thing there, right? Crap, there was something I specifically wanted to bring up to you about the podcast where I was like, do you remember when we blank? Oh, here's one thing. Richard and I were both listening to, we were doing nostalgia, whatever, and we were like, oh, let's go listen to the first episode of our podcast.
Oh, yeah. That was
wow.
something.
I don't know if you guys listen to Crime Junkies or any more serious podcasts, but we definitely, I mean, we just went for it first off, right? Like, we didn't know what we're doing, of course.
We still don't know what we're doing.
We don't know what we're doing now.
Well, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. You're fairly professional.
No, I wish.
Especially on the technical end of things. I'm still just a dude behind a microphone. I'm just faking it.
But
I haven't made it yet.
I was
I'm
like,
just faking it.
It's kind of funny how like our intro and podcast flow and that stuff's never changed. It's always been the same. And then it went back to the first episode and it's, hello, adventurers. My name is Tyler, and I'm Richard. On today's podcast, we're talking about Dungeons and Dragons or some crap like that. And I'm like, whoa, that's so much more professional and nothing like what we do now, where we're just like, howdy, y'all. Welcome in.
I was about to say, I need to go back and figure out the exact first time I said howdy, because that is not a word that I use in everyday life.
I've never, ever heard.
That is not a greeting.
I've never heard him say howdy
that
outside
I give
of this
to
podcast.
people in the field, if you will, both literally and figuratively. Do I have a farm? Yes, I have a small farm. Am I a farmer with the air quotes again that the audio listeners can't hear? No, I'm not. I don't know why I say howdy, but I do. And it's just kind of a thing that has stuck.
He did it, and then it was in too deep by the time he realized.
By the time I realized I was saying howdy every episode, I couldn't not say howdy.
It became the thing.
And it became just a thing that I have to say now because my brain pathways have been set. And that's just it. I don't know what I would say if I didn't say howdy.
Sup, players? Like,
no, let's stick with howdy.
Well, players like the game.
No,
players.
I got you. I'm just not going to say it. No, but yeah, I did listen to our first episode, and it's different. I wouldn't. It wasn't bad. I think.
No, it was fine.
I think we were good.
It was fine.
Yeah.
This podcast, its roots, and I say much of it was audio focused, and I think at the end of the day we still are. If you're watching on YouTube or like Spotify's got the video too. If you're watching anywhere, it's not the highest quality video ever. Obviously, there's much better. Look at what is it, the WAN show or things like that, or you really get into it and you've got your waveform podcast and what is it, the Joe Rogans and stuff like that. Those are legitimate professional podcasts. There's
people with more than one camera, and
more
in most cases an actual camera, which when we first started recording I was using my iPhone.
Oh yeah, iPhone recorded almost every episode of this.
Yes. That was an iPhone camera for
what is this, an Osmo?
A long time,
right?
until I bought a DJI Osmo 3.
Yeah.
That little guy right there, which is actually a really nice little camera.
Yeah, it comes in handy because when we go to conventions, we can just record everything with the same camera.
And I don't have to have my phone up there.
Yeah, exactly. Now you can use it for other things like monitoring the camera. So we've come a long way.
No, but it's good. I think so. I think it's great.
We definitely want to, and we've considered like, oh, what if we buy more and we do the extra, the multiple camera angles on each of us. My computer can't do it. It just can't. It's an old M1 MacBook, little laptop thingy, and it struggles to do the audio sometimes. Once we get like 4 audio channels on here and we have guests, it struggles. It's usually a memory constraint more than anything else. So we're just technology limited right now. Once eventually we get enough funds saved up from our just normal day jobs and lives with our families and everything, we're like, hey, can we just put aside some of this, cash to eventually upgrade our podcast that we do for fun? And their families say yes, then we'll get a better computer. And then maybe at that point we can get more cameras and do all the angles and everything else. But for now, I hope the audio is okay. Because that's what I was getting at. That's where we started. We were audio first. And even then, like, we didn't dump money into this for audio. This is just mics and stuff I had lying around from when I wanted to be like a video game YouTuber. And I was like, me and my buddies are going to get up together. We're going to like record ourselves doing video games. Not like every single other YouTuber in the world want to do the same thing. And I had okay mics for that. And so we did that and it was okay for a while. And then eventually we bought 2 of the same mic just for consistency, even though they were significantly cheaper mics. I still like the sound of them.
Yeah,
and then
great.
We were like, hey, let's get more mics so we can have guests. And then we realized we get a pink one and we gave it to Richard.
Because I like pink. Okay.
And, so the visual consistency gone, but ruined forever.
Tyler's life ruined.
It doesn't bother me every time I edit the videos. Like, no. Mistakes might have been made. But I stand by it. It's fine. It's the Howdy mic.
It's Howdy and it's a pink mic. It's done.
So yeah, in the future, we're looking forward, right? Over the next year. Do I think we're gonna upgrade our camera setup in the next year? No, I don't. But I would like to. Maybe we will. Maybe if we get higher paying jobs or something and we can allocate more money. I just realized audio listeners don't care about this, but video watchers, we always have a pillow with our logo on the middle of the table. We didn't put it on the table. There you go.
It's back. Video people, it's back.
Audio listeners, the pillow's on the table. I don't even know if it's centered.
It's good.
Yeah.
It was in our illustrious GM's chair.
Oh yeah, that is the chair I sit in when we run games.
Background, yeah.
When we play games, that's where Richard sits.
Yeah, that's exactly where I sit. Yeah, I don't move. Consistency is key.
Yeah. So yeah, the pillow's back. That's important. Going forward, I would like to improve video and lighting. I think our lighting's gotten better, but it's not the best. I would like to improve lighting, and I'd like to improve our video. Maybe get some angles and stuff in here. But all that's going to take money. What do you want to do in the future that's not going to take money?
That's not going to take money?
Yeah,
I play more games.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, for the podcast or just general
for
life?
The podcast.
Okay.
Yeah, I like playing games on the podcast. I think like one of my favorite times a month is year is our October months where we get to play games where we don't really forego like normal podcast episodes. I don't know if you guys like this, but I enjoy it, which is when we play games for Spooky Month.
Yep.
Yeah. Which traditionally have all been relatively spooky. We've done some not so spooky month games.
Spooky adjacent sometimes.
Adjacent games.
Yeah.
But I do like playing games like that. I like the the kind of like the short form factor of it. Like it's a self-contained episode, right? So we're not like doing like this huge long form play where people have to watch hours and hours of us playing a specific game or something like that. I like that it's kind of can be baked into a small experience and have fun for players and hopefully fun for people to watch too, which I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you want to sprinkle in some more of those like one-shot styled games throughout the next year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's tough though because when you get so many people on screen, and not to say that like me and you are good at being on screen, but like, I mean, we've been doing it for a while.
I see what you're saying.
And we bring in outside
stuff.
people and friends and stuff like that aren't necessarily comfortable being on camera.
Right.
Or not that they're not comfortable. They just don't know what to
mic
do.
Etiquette.
Yeah,
or they're nervous on camera.
Yeah, nervous and whatever it may be.
Sure.
So that's the only real challenge there, I think, is, like getting people comfortable making fools of themselves in front of the camera like we do on a weekly basis.
Yeah. It's and then you can go back to like some of the first episodes. It's not like me and Richard have changed at all over this time. It's just that we've both been moderately comfortable keeping conversations going for long periods of time because we just have to do that in our daily life.
Yeah.
So it's easy for us to just speak towards each other, but also referencing people we cannot and will never see. Occasionally though, hey, Gen Con people, see you in the future. That's a good one though. All right. What kind of games are you thinking? Like people, we already asked listeners to suggest some games. You think it's something like that? Or do you have stuff you've already got in mind?
Oh, I've got stuff on deck,
Okay.
like ready to go. And then there's also like listener suggestion stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I don't know about you. You got like tons of stuff back here.
That's mostly
But
board games.
I
though.
actually do have quite a few like TTRPG style stuff that we haven't actually explored. Stuff that I've never even talked to you about, and stuff that we have talked about that are, like really fun little games that could.
I want to
make
play the
really
raccoon
good
game.
one-shots. That's a really good one there. Which is, oh man, I can't remember the name of it now. Is it Sky
Pirates?
Or is that a 80s movie?
I think it's Sky Pirates, right?
I think that's an 80s movie.
Okay.
I know they're space pirates.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think it's Sky Pirates, but there's a raccoon TTRPG. It's not a raccoon specifically, but it's like trash animals TTRPG.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
could be a rat or a possum or a raccoon or anything like that.
Mhm.
That one seems like it's going to be really fun. But I have some other ones that are like more like new.
Yeah.
Which are not like mainstream at all. We're talking about like smaller form zine type games.
So I got a question for you then. Back our first spooky month, where we every single one of those games was one-on-one, which served two purposes. One, it was easier for us because it was just one-on-one. We had the two mics. But two, it allowed listeners to hear and learn, a little bit about these games that could be ran one-on-one.
Mm-hmm.
Though this most recent spooky month, I believe we only did one game that was solo GM system, and everything else we did with multiple players.
Yeah, with multiple players.
And you're looking forward. Are you wanting to bring in outsiders like friends, colleagues, stuff like that? Or do you just want to try to focus back in on the one-on-one?
I like having at least another person. I like the 3-player dynamic.
The 1-2.
Or like the game master and 2 players kind of a dynamic or something like that. I really like that. Not that I don't mind one-on-one games.
I mean, it feels to me like
I like
you just
one-on-one
want someone else to
games.
talk to. I get it's fine.
I am curious though, like as to most people, because when I think of like TTRPGs and stuff like that, there's a ton of solo TTRPGs out there and everything like that. But most of the time when I think of it, I don't automatically think 2 players. I usually think most groups are 3 players or so. Maybe that's an incorrect assumption on things. But I know generally speaking in our lives, especially for me growing up, it's always been at least 3 players in a game.
Yeah.
Not to say that, like I said, one-on-one games aren't something that don't happen, because obviously we've done a ton of them.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, generally like a one GM 3 players is like my like perfect, I'll say perfect triangle, but it's 4 people, right? My perfect square.
My perfect triangle has 3 points or 4 points.
I like to put myself at 1 point and my players the other 3, making a perfect triangle. So yeah, but anytime we do that, the tech side of things, like I mentioned, once we get the 4 mics, things get difficult. Mm-hmm. That's when my computer is like, there's just simply not enough.
That's where we're struggle busting.
There's not enough. There's not enough storage to do this. And I'm like, wipe everything, delete everything, just power through it. And then I'm like, all right, finally got the audio done. Time to add the video. Dead to us. So that's where we even capped it Spooky Month last year at the 2 players, 1 GM, because that, while still difficult, was doable on the computer side of things.
Yeah.
We're fully equipped mic wise to do these 4-player 1 GM games and stuff. We're struggling a little bit on the technical side. But, we'll see. I definitely, if you're interested in doing that, I think we can definitely schedule some of those in. Maybe like an every other month or...
Yeah, I think it would be fun to like get more games in.
Okay.
And a little bit more variation on things.
All right. Yeah, and if you guys if there's any that you guys are all like, yo, definitely check this out, we will fast track some of these systems. And, if not, we'll just do them at our leisure.
Yeah.
We're definitely going to have to do some Daggerheart. That's a given, right?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a given. If not just because we want to.
Yeah.
It's exciting to have a new system that is exciting to us.
Yep.
And I really want to see if it's going to fulfill on all of its promises. Right? I think that's like at the forefront of my brain right now is Daggerheart going to live up to the hype?
Yeah,
that I have built up.
We've built it up ourselves.
That we've built up for it, that we've, artificially made, and that has been made for us by the marketing team.
Great marketing team.
Yeah. And I want to see what it does, because I think that this is, poised to be a big player in the system, which is interesting because when you think about the system beforehand, it was always just Pathfinder and Dungeons and Dragons. Those were like the 2 big guns. And even then we've talked about the disparity between those 2 IPs in general. Yeah. And now we have something else that's poised to be big. How big?
Yeah. And that's back where we were like, we knew they were working on something, but we didn't think, Kindle Obscure is great. It's a great system.
Yeah.
Self-contained, you just buy the 1 book, you're in, you're out. That's not something we would ever do for long form campaigns, but few sessions, stuff like that. For Halloween, every year we're gonna do a few sessions of totally. Like I could see that sort of thing, but never once would it replace D&D for us. This is the first time that we've actually considered, like, hey, what if we like this enough to kind of hang up the hat of D&D and we pick up the Daggerheart hat? I mean, it's definitely on my mind.
Yeah, it's not a possibility,
Yeah.
right, for it to become the forefront in our tables and minds.
But no, I like this though, because then this, even if we're doing a session a month, a session every other month, something that will give us, this is where I get to I just get to play more games. That'll give us time to jump into actual games of Daggerheart at home while waiting on our players to finish Strahd. I say players, like you're not one of them, but for you guys, for us to burn through the rest of Strahd so that we can be like, it's done. Let's play this other system. And we did consider just like transferring to Daggerheart, but we're so close. We're in like the last third of Strahd. We don't want to be like jumping systems now, and trying to convert everything. We're going to let everyone finish it off, wrap it up nicely.
I don't know how close
we're not going to rush. We're not going to rush this thing, right? We're not going to like ruin it.
So you're telling me to rush Strahd right now?
I can't imagine it going well for you.
No, it seems like it would go horribly.
Our barbarian rushed his way to the ground last session, and that was amazing.
Yeah,
but tis the breaks when the dice taketh, you hit the ground real hard.
Yeah, you hit the ground real hard.
So God, now I want to play more D&D. I just want to play more games, man. This is great. All right, I'm into it. I'm into it.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, we'll do some of that. We'll play some more games in the next year. Anything else?
Ooh, man, that's a good question. It's
there's one thing I want to do, but I don't think we're going to.
What's that?
I want to go to more conventions.
Yeah, I
want to cover more conventions.
Why are you trying to cut me so deep right now?
No. So
that was a personal attack.
No, it's not. All right. So we all know Richard isn't going to Gen Con this upcoming year because he doesn't want to go anymore. But there's stuff like PAX Unplugged,
doesn't want
right?
to go anymore. Like
we could go to PAX Unplugged, potentially, but then it's like, well, it's in December. How's our PTO look in December? How's the company look in December? What are your family's plans? What are my family's plans? And that's an easy one, right? That's just, PAX Unplugged, sure. But Atlanta, that's not super far from us here in Florida. They do, game conventions and stuff too. Like, there's other things we could check out. I would like to go to something.
Yeah.
Get some more like gameplay out there. One of these years we're gonna go to PAX Unplugged. Probably not this year, but maybe one year. We'll see. That's one thing. That's just one thing I definitely want to do because I have a blast covering Gen Con every year, and I just imagine if we did that, but more often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I am going to be super sad that I'm missing Gen Con this year.
I'm still trying to convince him to go, y'all. I'm trying to fly him in. And he's like, I don't know. So I'm like, that's not not a hard no.
It's not just money. It's that we also are all doing other things. Like I do so many shows.
Richard's the busiest person I've met in my entire life.
Yeah. And in addition to our 9 to 5, I have trade shows that I go to for other hobbies that I have that aren't game related. Yeah. They're even weirder than games. I won't even go into it. But I do other things.
That's so ambiguous. Let your mind run wild.
Spooky ooky. But yeah, no, I go to these shows and like I was looking at my schedule for this upcoming year of 2025. Me and my wife sat down and we wrote down our schedule.
It's so much.
And there are so many shows that I'm going to be attending this year that I go to. Some of them I go to with my whole family. Some of them I go to with just me. Sometimes I drag him along and I make him go with me to them.
Yeah. And then he hides money for it inside of my belongings.
I only did that once.
Yeah. And I think it was the only time I ever went.
He won't take payment.
Nah, I went to Ocala once.
Your wife almost stole that money, I think.
Yeah, she did. Absolutely.
It would have been fine either way.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want it anyway.
Either one of you can have it.
But it went to a PlayStation Portal, so hey.
That's good. But yeah, no, I want to do so many more conventions, but I have to try and balance it with the shows that I'm already doing. And that's just so difficult.
Yeah.
It's just life. There's too much life.
And the thing is, and this isn't like a slight against the podcast because we still do this week to week, right? We're planning on actually. I joke about retiring because we hit 100. And that's a big number, and I can look back and be like, what are we doing with our lives?
So many episodes.
The amount of time we spend making this, putting it online, doing all the other stuff. We're bad at social media, so I'm not even going to include the social media of it all. We're terrible at that. That would, if this is one of those things where like, if you guys ever went serious, what would you do first? Hire another guest star?
Actual social media
No,
manager.
we get someone to reply to comments because
Yes.
like we will see every comment you guys write. We're like, dude, new comment, read this. Oh my God. I'm gonna reply to it on break. Break doesn't come.
Yeah.
Like it's just we're real bad at it. I've got 3 emails right now as of this moment. One from another YouTube creator, which I promise you I'll get back to you, hopefully before this episode goes up, and 2 from other companies that that send us things, and I haven't even wrote them back, and like we're just bad at this,
Real bad with object permanence.
so we're gonna try to get better at that stuff, of course, but yeah, I would love to get someone on that. I don't even remember how this started. I tangented so far, I don't remember the point of what I'm saying. We're bad at everything. What are we doing?
I don't know. We just kind of make it up every week as we go.
Yeah, that's so true. Why are you guys here? Why do you no? Let us know. No. But yeah, we're terrible. If we don't write you back, we saw
it's
you.
not a slight on you
No,
in the least bit. When I say object permanence, I mean digital objects as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like when it's like if I don't do it right that very second, I have to struggle bus to remember to do it at all.
And we're so busy outside of the podcast too that it just that happens so quick. Especially when we get a notification, it's really easy to like see it, read it really quick, and then like it's gonna take me a second to like actually sit down, reply to a thing, which we can't do at our day job immediately. So when we don't, it goes away.
Yeah, it just goes away. Yeah.
Man.
That's one thing I hope to get better at in the year coming.
Yeah, right. I'm really trying to remember how I got on this. This is killing me. It's killing me. Oh, man, it's killing me to death.
That's what I'm saying. It's something you want to do in the next 100 episodes.
Yeah, but will we remember to do it?
In the next 100 episodes, we're going to reply to more comments.
Yeah. Richard says we have no vision for the future, but I don't see it.
We had a vision for the future. It's changed a lot.
That's true.
Yeah.
A lot less Dungeons and Dragons.
A lot less Dungeons and Dragons, yeah.
But not none of it.
Not none of it, no. I think we had some kind of romantic notions about what we were going to do on a week-to-week basis when we first started this whole thing.
For sure. I remember we wanted, or at least I wanted to, because they're doing all the 1D&D playtesting, right? So as they came out with new things, or we wanted to make builds and all kinds of things,
right? Oh,
right?
yeah, no, that's like one of the main things we wanted to do.
And I remember wanting to, new playtest content. We would take like a playtest for, let's say, Cleric comes out, right? And they have all these new features at new levels and everything. And at the end of episodes of covering a specific part of playtest material, I wanted to make a character and then actually run like a one-on-one game or get some people and just run this like a little mini session at the last like half hour of our hour-long episode.
Of an hour-long episode.
And like give actual play use of a character, the
Sounds
changes
like a
in the
great idea,
playtest, right? We've never done it once.
No, because you know how long it would be?
It's like,
oh my gosh, it would be huge.
We've been talking in circles. It's been like 35 minutes.
When we had the UAs and when they were dropping on a regular basis, we would spend the entire hour just going over the changes in the UA.
Totally.
And that's just talking about the changes, not even getting into the nitty gritty of the changes as far as like, we don't do the math man stuff.
No, we leave that for Garrett.
We leave that for the professionals.
We leave that for the real podcasters.
Things.
The real D&D YouTubers and podcasters.
Theory crafting is what we do. But yeah, no.
Sure,
if we were going to do like actual playtests on top of that, these would be like Critical Role episodes. It'd be like 4 hours long.
4 to 5 hours.
Especially when you
get a lore master to come in.
When you put
sum it
me
up.
and you like behind a table, which you guys, if you've watched any of our live plays, it's even worse when you're actually playing with us. And we've made a joke about this before about how much stupid role playing that the two of us do when it's not required.
Zero.
When it's not even like games that don't. We would role play Uno. Okay, so when you would have sit us down and be like, okay, well, we're gonna play test these new cleric rules, and the first thing we would do is spend 20 minutes going over our backstory for the characters
totally.
that we're about to play test. And we're like, we're just really trying to just play test this one spell. We don't need to know the city that you brought up in, your tragic backstory. Like that. Oh man, we would be horrible at that.
Yeah.
We would put way too much role playing.
But it could be
into
cool, right? Like,
It
I
could
see the
be
merits
cool.
of it. I'm like, I would listen to this.
Oh no, it would be awesome.
We want to make the content we want to listen to. We're just not capable
We just can't.
of doing it or reining ourselves in of something. So we just end up doing this for back and forth for like an hour where he says a thing, I laugh, I try to talk about a thing, I forget what I'm talking about. Richard changes the subject because he realizes I'm off the rails in a field somewhere. And he just like brings the camera back to him and is like, next topic.
It got us through 100-ish episodes.
And then next week I'll be like, ooh, look at this topic I just thought of. And you're like, what, did you start on that last week? No. Next week we're going to talk about Baldur's Gate.
Yeah. It's worked for 100 episodes.
Yeah.
And it'll work for 100 more.
Will it?
We're going to make it work.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Yeah, no, like I said, it was we had
fine.
some romantic notions about what we were going to do with the podcast. And I really did think that it was going to be strictly D&D all the time.
100%.
24/7.
It was in the description.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Just
D&D
two guys,
podcast.
two, what was it? Like two guys giving their completely unwarranted opinions on the world's greatest role-playing game, I think was like the original
It will
tagline or
forever
something.
and always be Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Period.
Period. There's
Signed,
no way anybody
Richard and
else
Tyler.
could ever release a system that would be better than this.
Yep. And then now it's just TTRPGs or role-playing games or whatever.
Yeah.
Now the tagline is just what, podcast for tabletop nerds, because that kind of just
Yeah.
sums it up.
Yeah. It just kind of sums us up. We are tabletop nerds.
Yeah. I like to think of us because we listen to our own podcast from time to time. We do.
Does anybody else do that? Do you have a podcast? Do you listen to your podcast? I listen to our podcast.
Yeah. We call it quality check, but I mean,
I think he's funny.
at the very least, it's just good background noise
Yeah.
because it's just at the end of the day, for the most part, two gentlemen talking to each other. And I'm like, you know what? I want to listen to just two people talking about tabletop stuff sometimes. And hey, if you guys know any other podcasts about people just talking tabletop, leave those in the comments too. Because I'm interested. I need more podcasts to listen to that aren't so serious.
That is the thing that we did stick to. Like from episode 1, it was all like we described it other than the Dungeons and Dragons part. We described it as like we just wanted a place where we would just do what we normally do, which is we sit around a table and we talk about the thing that just happened to be Dungeons and Dragons at the time.
Yeah.
And you know, if people listen to it, people listen to it. Right?
Yep, tabletop discussion podcast. Yep, we're still there.
Yeah, which we're still doing that.
Yeah, but here you are trying to shove more actual play into it.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to go back to our roots.
No,
we were going to do
that was supposed to be the same episode.
Well, no, the roots of what we said we were going to make roots of.
Yeah, but those roots were supposed to be first half loaded conversation, last half loaded gameplay.
No,
now
it's going to have to be
separate entirely.
Episode talking about episode full loaded gameplay.
You know what you could see? And this would probably be terrible for like metrics and people actually watching both episodes and stuff. But you could totally do like an episode where you're making your characters and stuff like that, and the next week come back to see the one shot using the character that we just spent an hour making for an hour of gameplay. Because that's how that goes.
Yeah, that's 100% how.
And then the next episode, an hour of how did you feel?
Yeah.
How did this gameplay make you feel, Richard?
I think it's funny the way
that's a whole month of episodes, basically.
The way that we mitigate that in our home games is by not telling each other anything about the game that we're going to play.
Totally. This happens every time.
That's the only way we can mitigate that is by just keeping the entire game a mystery up until we hand each other character sheets and then start asking questions then.
I mean, all Spooky Month that happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Every single one. We're like, what do you want to be? Roll this. Here's your character sheet. Or what was it? We did Dreams and Machines. And they're like, all right. What do you want to be? Here's what's your name?
Yeah.
It's the best. So I think my wife was in on that one. She's like, we have to come up with names right now. And then you look at me and I'm like, Clive Broadside. Like, done. Next. The Rolodex has begun. What else do you need? But then all these, like we mentioned, our friends and stuff that don't just make things up into a microphone week after week. Don't do that. And that's where it gets interesting, because you're talking about having multiple people on here. Do we find like one other consistent party member, aka friend, to come on as our regular? Because typically we've been like rotating.
Yeah, we
people
rotate
that want to come on. but do we find like who's the best and stick with them on here? We know a lot of people like Garrett when he comes on. He's very insightful. He plays a lot of games. He's got more experience in this sort of thing than either of us do. Maybe not like, over like the years of the project, because everyone, our video listeners, have mentioned you're just so old,
Right? So old.
But he's not that old, guys.
My hair is getting gray.
He's not that old at all.
Pretty old.
Feels it. But just in like, maybe not quantity, but just denseness of like how much TTRPG experience he's had in the last decade. He's done a ton. He's got more than either of us combined, I think. So when he comes on, it's great. He's very insightful and knows a lot. Now, we push back. We don't always agree with him, but hey, that makes good content. So I'd love it if he could come on a bunch, but he's kind of far.
Yeah.
It's at least a 2-hour drive for him.
Yep.
So we have other friends and, I was going to say cohorts, but co-workers and stuff that are interested in coming on. But, we haven't seen as much of a liking from commenters and stuff about some of these other people, but maybe that's because we haven't asked. So, hey, if we've ever had any guests on, we're asking a lot of you guys, but hey, it's our 100. We're workshopping the future. If we have any previous people that have come on the show, guests and stuff, who's your favorite? Who have you liked? Give us your top 2, your top 3. We haven't had that many. I mean, really, we've had 4 or 5 people on?
Yeah.
So I was about to count them out, but what's the point? Yeah, so if you've had anyone on that you'd like to see more of, let us know that too.
Yeah.
Help us mold the future
of the
True Strike podcast.
Yeah, because we don't know what we're doing.
No, we never have, and we never will.
No. Well, we tried to know what we were doing, and that didn't work. So now we're just going into it with a more lax.
We got some approach. Of it, and we branched.
So we got some of it. Yeah, we got some of it right. Yeah.
It's kind of like the whole butterfly path thing,
Yeah.
We're a skill tree.
Skill tree. It's funny you brought up Dreams and Machines again. That game
I can't not. It's always in the back burner.
Probably like, aside from Daggerheart, right? So being like kind of like a surprise up and comer that I'm really excited about. Dreams and Machines has just come out of nowhere and just kept releasing content.
Yeah, it doesn't get enough love.
Like, they are just pushing that game, and it's a good game. It's a really good system, but man, this is a side tangent, because you made me think of it when you brought it up again, is like, they're just like surprising me with the amount of content they're dropping that like I didn't even know was in the pipeline.
It's all good. Anything we've seen from it's been good.
Yeah, it's all been really, really good stuff. And it's just interesting that that's the game that's getting like a lot of, attention, a lot of love from Modifius. Well deserved though. It's good stuff.
Absolutely. It's great.
Yeah.
And, maybe it sucks too, because like I said, not enough people are playing this game. At least, not enough people are talking about this game.
They're releasing content. Somebody's playing this game. I think people are playing this game.
I hope so. And I hope it's not them just like, we know we have something good, so we're going to keep making things for it, hoping that it'll catch on and then it'll become the new thing. But
I don't know.
Look at Dune, though. Dune has a ton of content for it, too. I know no one playing Dune. Doesn't mean no one's playing Dune. I just don't know anyone playing Dune.
Nobody in our circle playing Dune.
So, I don't know. I'm sure the D20 system from Modifius is doing good for them. Obviously, like, they're still in business, still making games. They've got the Star Trek stuff, and they've got to be doing really well. Dreams of Machines having no IP attached to it other than, air quotes, not Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah.
It's, they can take that anywhere, I guess. I hope it does super good for them. I hope it's doing well for them, and we just don't see it.
I think it is. Like, I think that's the point of what I was trying to say there. Is I think that like it's doing better than I've given it credit for. Like, because they're still obviously making stuff for this, which means that there is an audience there, and I think they see the audience there. So I think it's doing better than I even knew that it was doing.
Okay,
cool.
Now I'm getting in on this where I'm like, oh, all right. So we got to play some more. We got to play some more Dreams and Machines. We got to play some more Dune. But we also got to play these new games we haven't played.
Yeah.
How do we fit all this in?
Played.
And then I'm like, now I really want the more camera angles. A camera angle for every person. And now it's getting too crazy. Then I spiral all the way back to me and Richard yelling into a microphone.
Yeah. I mean, I keep buying Morgborg stuff. Like, constantly.
Why?
Just because it's cool. We're never going to play half the stuff that I have.
It's a board game, but look at all the Villainous I keep buying.
Yeah, I keep buying.
I think I'm like, I'm in the 2 expansions now behind the Villainous, and it's killing me because I own everything else. Oh, jeez. Or all the Jason Anarchy games. I think we've touched them all at least once, but like
we played them all at least one time.
Every time that man puts out a new game, I buy it, and it's always a great time. And at this point, I'm like, I got to keep the collection going. I just got to keep buying this man's games. So, hey, Jason, if you're listening, great games.
Good stuff.
So you got this cat one coming out soon. Hold on. I haven't received the last one yet. Like I'm still waiting on my trumpet or my trombone game. Chill. But thank you. You make great stuff. Hope to see you again. Blah, 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 blah. I don't know if you can see it on camera. We have a little Draco Lich in the background behind Richard now. You probably can't see it. It's way in the back. The players got to fight that last time in Curse of Strahd. That was fun. So every once in a while, when you see new dragon minis pop up in the background, just assume the players have probably fought them.
One of your dragons is in my car.
In the car?
Yeah.
Oh, you're done with him?
He's been in my car since Thursday.
Oh, no. If it wasn't so cold out, I'd be worried.
Yeah, no, he's fine.
Okay.
He's a red dragon.
How's that going?
What?
The video.
Oh, it's done.
Is what?
Well, I gotta put
done.
subtitles on it. Yeah, that's that object permanence thing that we keep talking about.
So, all right. My last short, we're talking about YouTube shorts and stuff. Rich is actually working on a review for the 50th anniversary edition of Art and Arcana.
Yeah, Dungeons and Dragons, Art and Arcana, a visual history.
Yeah. And they did some update and changes to it for the 50th anniversary of Dungeons and Dragons. Friends over at Penguin Random House actually sent him that. So, woo! Thank you. He's been working on getting this up for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that. And
well, we got it after its release.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah. And then I've been I worked on it. I took some video from it. Didn't really like it. I don't like shooting video by myself. I didn't have this fellow with me. When I shoot video by myself, I'm very critical of it. It's horrible all the time.
It's so funny though, because if you look at our last short, the one I did the review of, that was like a oneer. I just started the camera. I talked. If I messed up my thoughts and I was like, that sounded silly, I would just say it again. And then I just cut the parts out that I wanted. And then I'm like, yeah, it's good enough for a short. And I threw it up online. Richard's like, it must be perfect.
I think I took like 50 minutes worth of video at one point.
How?
Which was reshoots, man. Reshoots.
Did you have a script?
Yes.
I didn't have a script.
I had a script for the first part, and then I recorded it, and I was like, man, that guy's a robot. That's a horrible script. I should just not have a script. And then I didn't have a script, and I shot it, and I didn't like any of the video. The background was horrible, useless, worst green screen I've ever done in my life. Ditch the green screen, actually have like some real background going on, real background air quotes. Recorded that, hated everything that I recorded on that, re-recorded all of that. Yeah, it's like I just got to put subtitles on it. Other than that, it's done. Do
you need the subtitles though? Because last time I did subtitles, you're like, it's better without it, and you had me take them off.
I don't really like subtitles as much. This is like a personal thing too. Like
Sure.
when I'm watching videos, I prefer videos that don't have subtitles, or at the very least, I'm using whatever program I'm watching it on to add those subtitles in with the program. That way I can have them off if I want to.
Fair enough.
Because I don't use subtitles, but subtitles are super inclusive, so they are a good thing to have sometimes. So it's kind of like a 6 in one, half dozen in the other.
Yeah, I don't know, man. You're taking this too serious.
It's
gonna be great.
No,
it's good. All right, here's like the video I didn't do super well, and that's because I phoned it in, literally, like phoned it in, and it was done. And I'm like, "What do you think?" And you're like, "It's good enough. Put it up." So I put it up. You've been working on this so hard. I cannot wait to see this magnum opus.
No,
of
that's
YouTube
the worst
shorts.
part. Is that it's not because it's great. I've been working on it so long because I'm crap. It has nothing to do with quality.
It's all quality.
It's not higher quality.
This video's
This
aged.
is just trying to get
Fine
from
wine.
like bad quality to acceptable.
Sure. Well, maybe it'll be up before this video goes live, and maybe it won't be.
It should be.
Video podcast.
It should be. Unless I find something really wrong with it, like while I'm doing the subtitles on it.
So yeah, if you're checking this out or listening to this, be sure to check out it's going to be what? Instagram, YouTube, Twitter? Not Twitter. Screw Twitter. Not affiliated. No. What is it? TikTok's the other one?
Yeah.
If that's still up, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I could post it to, I don't know what it's called.
Talking about Blue Sky?
No.
Threads?
Was it Shancho?
Red
Note?
Yes, Red Note. That's it. Yeah.
I don't know what it's actually called.
Do you have a Red Note?
No, but I can make one.
Sure. If that's what you want to do with your email address.
Then not only will we have subtitles, but we'll have Mandarin subtitles.
Ooh, maybe it's worth it.
Yeah.
Reach a whole new audience.
Yeah.
So, yeah, if you guys want us to post more things on Red Note, let us know.
I got to look it up. I think it's Shan Shao, but I'm not really sure.
I don't social media
I just
enough.
like saying
We've
Shan
discussed
Shao.
this. So,
But no, I should have that video up pretty soon.
okay. I'm excited to watch it. Is the other thing Richard and I do is we usually make things, we don't send to each other like as we're making them. We're just like, it's done. What do you think? And then if we hate it, we got to start over. Except this time I haven't seen anything.
Yeah, mostly because mine are just super cringy.
No.
And if you watch any of my shorts, they're like super cringy. I put myself in a haunted house.
That was so good.
For one episode.
Oh my God. I forgot about that one.
And I'm like, oh, you know what's really clever? For Alice is missing, I'm going to disappear.
That was good. Hey, you know what? That one was really good.
No.
We did all right. We used to do the 60-second board game reviews and stuff too, right? And I would love to do more of those. It's just time. And
Those were fun.
we did the stupidest stuff. I think we had a scene in that where we wanted like the missing like people posters to like blow away.
Oh yeah, no.
So I stand off screen and go, "Oosh," and just blow the papers while it's so dumb. What are we
We
doing?
had police lights in that one too.
We did the catch the moon. I was recorded on a ladder.
Yeah.
We never bring up the ladder. I'm just recording from a ladder. Because
But there's ladders in the case.
yeah.
Context clues.
So we did
Were the
dumbest
60-second reviews a success? I mean, they were fun.
Your
They
betrayal
were really
and Alice is
fun.
missing. Speaking of Alice is missing, videos consistently week after week are in the top 3 most viewed videos on our channel
I don't know why.
every single week, and I'm like, it never ends. It's evergreen.
They're haunting me.
Evergreen
Those videos are
content.
haunting me.
You can't escape them. You made it too good. People are gonna find them for the rest of YouTube. Yeah. Anytime someone looks up Alice is missing, guess what? You
Yeah,
pop up.
there's me.
There's you. Betrayal? It's you again. Eventually, they're like, oh, this man's everywhere. Best case scenario, they look up those 2 games in a row, and then they're like, you know what? Might as well subscribe to these people.
I mean, hey, maybe that'll be something. Who knows?
That's probably half of our subscriptions.
Just those 2
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
I doubt it.
That's why we're farther behind on like Spotify and Apple Podcasts.
Oh,
Because
'cause they don't
those
have
don't have your
access.
60-second reviews. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all it could be. Well, thanks everyone for joining us for another episode of True Strike Podcast. It's been 100 episodes, Richard. Do you feel different?
Yes.
Older?
Yes.
Wiser?
Better.
Better?
Stronger.
Oh, faster. Like we mentioned, if any of you are interested in getting a copy of, it's totally going to be the pre-order, like the pre-order for
Yeah, we're
Daggerheart.
going to do the pre-order. We'll give it away to a person, then we'll send it
straight to
directly
you.
to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We already discussed that.
Yep. So that's how that's going to work. Like I mentioned, after you don't have to subscribe, like, anything like that. I'm still going to ask you for that sort of thing. It's not required for the video. Just general, hey, if you're on YouTube or anywhere, like, subscribe, podcast places, 5-star, super cool. Not required,
Yeah.
but I appreciate it. Once we do hit 1,000 on YouTube, at whatever point that happens, not required for the giveaway,
Yeah.
we will do another one of these just because that's just the milestone we've already set up in our
Yeah.
minds and stuff.
And the reason why we haven't discussed what we're going to do is because we don't know when we're going to hit 1,000.
Exactly.
So if we were to promise something like right now, it might not really be relevant or something that people actually want.
Right.
We want to give away something that people want or people might be excited about, which is why this one we wanted to do Daggerheart,
Yes.
because Daggerheart is so cool.
It's cool.
We're
it's
excited
hot.
about it.
We're
It's
talking
hot.
about it.
Yeah, so that was
It,
the one we
it
wanted
makes
to
sense.
do.
Like,
Whereas the 1,000 one, we don't know what we're going to be doing there.
Totally.
You know, if that happens fast, it could be something more specific or relevant to the time. Might not be Daggerheart, might be Dungeons and Dragons related.
yeah.
There's, the sky's the limit on that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
so.
Richard actually talked me down on that because I was like, and for 1,000, we'll do the super edition of Daggerheart. And he was like, yeah, but what if that doesn't exist anymore? And I was like, oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Like, we can't just be promising things that might not exist at that time. So who knows? If we hit it really soon, hey, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's something we can do if we hit it really soon.
Yep.
We just don't know when it's going to be. So we'll keep you posted. As we
Totally.
get closer to it, we might be able to kind of gauge closer what it could possibly be.
Right.
And it's not that we're trying to keep it a secret. We just don't know
Yeah,
what it's
exactly.
going to be.
Exactly.
Yet. Yeah.
And yeah. So, but hey, that's then. This is now. Thank you, Richard, for joining me for 100 episodes of this podcast.
Thank you, Tyler,
know
for doing all the work.
You didn't
involved
want
in
to
the
do it. And I
podcast.
drag you along week after week. I make you show up. It's sit in the studio, and you just want to go home to your family. But here you are,
To the farm.
back to the
Where
farm.
I say howdy to the cows every day.
Do you?
No.
Oh, I was like, oh, there you go. That's
I
why
say,
you
hey,
say it.
girly.
Hey, girly. God, I wish we were at Madison Square Garden watching Brennan Lee Mulligan play D&D.
Why
But
not?
until then, which wasn't going to happen, I've been Tyler.
And I've been Richard.
And we've been True Strike. Bye, everyone.
See ya.
Hey, adventurers. Thanks again for joining us today. Please be sure to give us a follow on your favorite podcasting platforms and YouTube. If there's any questions you'd like to write into the show, you can hit us up on Threads, Blue Sky, or Instagram. New episodes release every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for listening to True Strike.